All right, for this review, we will cover the second half for the multiple choice. All right, this slide, we are looking at the chapter on memory. First of all, chunking. That is breaking information down into smaller bits so that it's easier for us to remember, like we chunk phone numbers. Explicit and implicit, these are our two types of long-term memory. So explicit would be things like facts, dates, names. These are referred to as semantic memories, episodic memories, and they're processed in the hippocampus. Implicit memories are procedures and skills that we've learned that involve movements, and they are processed in the cerebellum. Spacing effect or the distribution effect, that is spacing things out over time, which is better than cramming a bunch at once. For this slide, we're looking at the unit on thinking and language. So functional fixedness is not being able to use an object for something that it was intended to be used for. I think the question that you saw on my unit test was there was a girl who went camping and couldn't figure out what to do because she forgot her pillow. That's functional fixedness. Representativeness heuristic, that is making a decision based on our prototype or our mental image or best representation of a category. So I gave you the example where if you were hiring a nanny for your child and you held interviews, if a little old lady came and a sketchy younger boy, which would you take? Most of you would have a mental image of a nanny being an older woman, so you would automatically pick her, but that could be misleading because she could be the worst babysitter ever. Availability heuristic, this is making a decision on things that we've recently seen, like in the news, things that are fresh in our mind are available. So you see a plane crash and you automatically think it's common, it's going to happen to you, so people will cancel their upcoming flights. Okay, on this slide, this is looking at the chapter on motivation. So we looked at Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We're motivated at different levels, and his most bottom level would be food and something to drink. If you do not have adequate food and water, you are not motivated to focus on anything else. The James Longa theory on emotion, they would state that you have this internal change, body process, and then you experience the emotion. So if a car darts out in front of you, immediately your heart will race, and then you'll feel scared. Type A personality, those are individuals who are very hard driving, very competitive, and very prone to all the health risks of stress. All right, so this is the unit on personality. The TAT test is a projective test that tries to uncover your unconsciousness. And you look at a bunch of pictures and say what you think about the pictures, and the therapist assesses you. Projection is one of the defense mechanisms where you have something bad happen to you. Let's say your boyfriend or girlfriend breaks up with you. You still like them, so you start to cast your thoughts onto them. You project your thoughts onto them, and that helps you feel better. The trait perspective would say that we're pretty much born with our personality, so it's our predisposition. And you would just take an inventory test like the Big Five, which would tell you about your personality. Conscientious is one of the Big Five traits that tells you about your personality. Okay, so this slide is from the chapter on abnormal psychology and treatment. Schizophrenia, it's believed that there is some type of genetic factor involved in people who develop schizophrenia. They find that it does run in families and through twin studies. Aversive conditioning is a treatment where you want to try to change a behavior. by adding something unpleasant. So, like your child is sucking on a pacifier and you want them to stop, you might dip it in mustard because they don't like it, and that gets them to change. Active listening. So, this is where a humanistic therapist would say we just want to be very non-judgmental, listen to what people have to say and kind of rephrase what they're saying and echo it back, and they become aware of it and fix themselves. We looked at multiple personalities, and that's usually due to abuse. When a child is being abused, they dissociate, so they channel their thoughts as if they are someone else, somewhere else, and that develops into their personality. Right, so this is from the social psychology unit. Foot in the door is a compliance strategy. If you want to get someone to do something for you, you get your foot in the door and you ask for something small and then build up to something bigger. In-group bias, this is one of the theories on prejudice where we are part of a group and others are different, so we see the people in our group superior to others, and they are inferior to us if they're in the they or out group. Ash did the line study on conformity, showing that if everybody gave the wrong answer, the volunteers who had no idea what was going on would also give the wrong answer just to conform, and that was like 67% of the time. And finally, frustration, aggression. Sometimes if you are very frustrated, you're more likely to be aggressive.